So for example, we do the Hollow Bunny will do ads for us. She'll create display ads and other ads. Her son Noah might have to program something, but each thing they do, Barbara and I need to be able to step in and facilitate it being done with or without them.
Yeah.
So when you run a company, you need to make sure, whether it's big or small, you need to have eyes on.
Because our customers are relying on us to get this done.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I am so excited today to have a doubleheader. We've got not one, but two amazing experts telling us about how to map, how to geo-target, and how to really optimize our marketing. Cullari Wardell, thank you so much for being on with me today. Tell us who you are and what you guys do.
I am Barbara Wardell, the other half of Cullari Wardell.
I'm Ernesto Cullari, and we're both co-founders of Cullari Wardell, and we are a geofencing ad agency. So essentially, we use satellites to draw virtual fences around target areas, and then we bid to serve ads to those phones. And most importantly, when those phone holders show up at your business, the satellite pings us, alerting us that a new visit has taken place. And each month we deliver 5,000 satellite verified in-store visits to locations throughout the US, Canada, and Australia each month.
Okay, that is ridiculously cool. How is this different than a typical geofencing built in a Google Map or Google My Business?
You can do it.
So we actually use Google Maps to tie into our ads, and we often use Google Business Profiles as well. So what's unique about geofencing and geo-targeting outside of the Google universe is that because Google has access to your personal information, they're not allowed to track you down to your exact location. So
Right.
of course you can use Google Maps to navigate, but in terms of
Right.
serving you an ad and tracking your device from a target location to a conversion zone, Facebook and Google, they're just not allowed to do that. So
Right.
we work outside of that universe. It's independent of these universes, and we're able to draw a virtual fence. We're able to capture those devices and anonymize them, which is the most important part.
Wow.
And then we have the right to bid for ad space on your phone. So when you're in the weather app, or you're on a dating app, you're in a chatting app, we have the right to send you an ad.
Wow.
And most importantly,
Regardless of the platform.
It's agnostic of the platform.
What?
And so depending on what kind of customer we're going after, what kind of end user we're going after, we may exclusively advertise in apps, and in-app users tend to spend 4 hours or more, sadly, on their phone. So
This is true.
Yeah, so you have that demographic.
We did a lot of study on this.
Nobody's wasting that much time, are they?
A quick service customer, sure. A laundromat customer, someone who's getting their oil changed and sitting there getting their tires rotated. These are people who are about 4 hours a day on their phone. So when they're there, they're a captive audience. And we're bidding to send ads on their phone. And then, we have the right to track them we track people for about 90 days.
Holy crap.
And then,
it's anonymized. So I know we don't know your name, so it's not as creepy as you think.
Come on, Barbara. I know what's going on here. So this is really cool. I mean, this definitely does creep some people out, but tell us what this does. I mean, if you're a business owner, I mean, your target audience are not obviously like you're trying to hit local markets, right? Like you're really trying to drive traffic into a business, a storefront, a restaurant. Like, who's your ideal client avatar? Like, what are you trying to do with this?
So I'll give you an example. Say you have a bunch of restaurants, and right now, with inflation, the average household is really in a cash crunch. So if you can identify with satellite accuracy, GPS accuracy, people who are currently spending money each day and each week, eating out, lunch, dinner, breakfast, then you already know that this person, if you were to send them an appropriate ad, if you were to send them a customized ad that speaks to them and their desire they work a lot, and they want to blow off steam and eat out. So we can identify these people in your competition, in competition locations. We can then send them ads to come to your store, to your restaurant. And then when they do, we record that visit. Since we're entering into from an inflationary market to what looks like another recession, we're competing more and more for fewer customers. So if you're going to do that, you might as well find highly motivated customers who are already spending money and then just give them a little nudge. How geofencing works most brilliantly, Barbara and I actually conduct studies to determine the flow of traffic. And it's the flow of traffic of mobile devices. So we take that information and we're able to target locations along the pathway to your business. And we combine that with straight up geo-targeting, which is targeting your competitors. And it's a combination such as that makes it easier for us to give a nudge to that would-be diner and push them to one of our restaurants.
I love it. So walk me through this then. So I'm a business and I'm trying to target an avatar who's hungry or just spending money shopping at the mall. Let's say I'm at a mall. Let's say I'm at a strip mall. I don't know. But you're going to target the devices that are in that area. You'll dish up an ad, sending it to them, whoever's actively on their device, using whatever platform they're on. And what's the delivery mechanism? I mean, I'm thinking browser, but you're talking about in a game, in a whatever. How is that actually working?
We actually bid for spaces. So when we draw the actual geofence, we know who comes in that geofence and what apps are open. So we have a bidding service that we bid to get those ads into those apps while they're in the geofence and outside the geofence once they are outside.
I love it.
So when they actually look at an ad, they can toggle it. They don't have to. From that point on, we really track them for 90 days. And once they come into that establishment, the satellite pings us and tells us, oh, they saw your ad. We know which ad they saw. We know where they saw it, and that they walked into your store. I mean, that's the best you can get for advertising.
You can also, so most of our, depending on who the end user is, most of our ads would be in an application. But so we handle private aviation companies. So these are private jet services and private jet management concierge services.
Right.
So for this client, we're targeting, say, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, Fox Business, all the various business and investment publications that are online. So that's going to be out of app. That will be in browser.
Sure.
And then we also do connected TV. Connected TV, we're able to match devices and then track visits from there. But,
you guys are awesome.
It's all in the realm of geo-targeting and geofencing. And depending on the level of the client, the end user will determine where we publish. So if it's a quick service customer, it'll probably be in-app. If it is a fine dining customer that we're going out after, it might be in the open web. If
Could
it
be
is
a native ad as well.
Yes, we also do native ads, what look like giant advertorials that take up most of the real estate on your phone. And then for again, if we're going, and then perhaps we're going for name recognition, we might do a connected TV ad.
And connected TV, you can't fast forward through it. You actually have to watch that commercial.
I love it.
When you're going for the House of the Dragon on HBO.
I hear it.
Or Lord of the you just can't.
You just can't fast
You have to watch that full minute of commercials on Hulu or Max before your show comes on.
It's painfully effective, unfortunately, and it's frustrating
it's brand
for the
awareness.
consumer, but the brand loves it. And I got to tell you guys, this is like a level up from what I'm used to hearing, and I think that what you're doing is amazing. If you're listening to this thinking, okay, this sounds too good to be true, my guess is that it is. How well does this perform against traditional just targeting using Google or Facebook?
So I'll give you an example. The typical ad spend for the small business owner is about $1,000 a month, and we have a client. This is typical of our results, but we have a client in North Carolina that has 30 locations, and on $1,000 ad spend, we deliver between 700 and 1,100 new customers a month. So
are you kidding me?
We're able to keep that cost per visit under $1. So that's the best we've ever done. So in LA, which is a very competitive market, we have a client with 7 locations, and we send around 400 or 500 satellite verified visits a month in a very competitive ad market. So that ad dollars are way more expensive in downtown LA and New York.
Right.
But nationally, we have it down to about $5 to $6 a visit. So you don't need Cullari and Wardell to geofencing, but if you want to,
what you're telling them that? No, I'm like kidding.
There's plenty of services out there. You could do it on your own, right? but we've built, so it works with or without us. The technology is already proven. You know, if you're tracking GPS by GPS devices and you're sending out ads, it's simply just going to be more effective. Particularly, you know, you're drawing a 3 or 5 mile radius. You're going to make a great impact on your local neighborhood. What makes us distinctly different is that we have our own proprietary technology that allows us to sort data quickly and remove ineffective targets out of the way.
Thank you.
And then we're able to look at that. We're able to look at that data and the whole custody of and the whole provenance of a visit, from the moment they received that ad to what ad they saw to what platform they were on when they saw it. So we have a lot of information. And because of our proprietary reporting systems, we're able to do much more than your average geofencing company.
I love it. This honestly sounds amazing. And for those of you who don't really understand marketing and don't really understand what we're talking about and the significance of these differences, I highly recommend you go check out the website here, because you guys have got information all over your ad page, and I mean your business page. Tell us, we got a link down below, so check it out. But tell us how, like, looking at your business, now that we kind of know what you do, who you service, and what you're up to, as you talk about the growth of your own business, tell us about that. Like, looking back, was there a key? Was it building the tech that you've used to kind of weed out these weak targets? Was it bringing on a specific client? Was it going into a certain niche? Like, what have you guys done specifically that kind of triggered a significant stage of growth for your business?
I have to say it was probably our partnership.
Yeah. So Barbara was going to enter. Yeah, she was going to enter another industry that I was working in, like for one of my clients, and it's a very lucrative industry. And she was going to buy 3 locations, and I was like, well, if you really want the benefits of working with an industry like that, I need a partner, because it's not easy to run a company by yourself. And while I was doing a great job, I was neglecting a lot. And Barbara came in and basically reformed our entire company. And she got us totally organized and started to put in systems, including a system that her son just built for us, which is our reporting system.
Yeah, we have a reporting system now, where earlier in our in the development of the company, we used to send out emails of just all the reports for our customers. And now they can go actually on a dashboard and look at it and see what's going on anytime they want.
And sort the data.
And sort the data.
The most important part is that it's an active system where you can go in, and it's not just a report, it's a targeting system. So it's much more proactive, rather than saying, oh, well, this is the data we got. And, you know, now with the data that comes in, you can do something about it. It's actionable data. So for example, if you're delivering 10,000 impressions to a location that's delivering you 1 visit, and it costs you $500, that is not a good investment. So we're able to look at things before they get to that point. We're able to say, hey, we just spent $100, and you know, we got, say, 1,100 impressions, and we really expect something more out of that, right? So we know we can remove that target from the list.
And we're really good at that. I mean, that was really important to us, is not to let, like, when we looked at the bigger companies that are doing this, and they're huge, like Target, and, you know, and they do the push
Chipotle
notification
and Burger King,
all those. For us, is we wanted to be able to really understand our business and our customers' business. So basically, we took all the data and we use a foot traffic, and we'll share that in a little bit. But we took that data, and we know when we're looking at the system and seeing during the daily grind of those 30 days what is working and what's not. So we don't wait for those 30 days to come and then we go, okay, now we're going to, no, we're in there changing those verticals to make sure that you're getting the biggest impact for your money. And that was the biggest thing, because I know with small businesses, every dollar counts.
Oh, yeah. Well, even large businesses. I mean, every dollar you're misspending translates to 100 times that amount. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So what you're doing is amazing. And so when you consider who you're servicing and your specific growth in your company, what you think it was the tech? You think it was the partnership? Like, what do you, like, in talking to people who are trying to figure out what that magic bullet is, what was it for you? And how did developing tech seem like the right path for you to increase your revenue, increase your growth?
Part of it was certainly the technology. I think that because we specialize in one particular, doing one thing perfect I think that is where our growth initially came from. So everything was
I
word of
love it.
mouth.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, if you think about businesses out there, say you want to be a marketing or agency or commercial photography or commercial direction, say you want to be a makeup company, skincare
Yeah.
company, the more you're doing, the less chance of success you have if it's a small
Agreed.
focused team. But
Yeah.
with a small focused team, if you're focused on doing one thing perfectly, then, and Sun Tzu is like, he whose armies are of all of one mindset will be victorious. That's
Right.
that sort of, that's how you win.
I hear
A
you.
winning formula is perfecting one thing. And that's where reporting came in, because, you know, in perfecting foot traffic, what's most important about it? What's most important about it is having as much precise, timely information that you can get your hands on so that you can act on it. And for us, that's what set us apart from the demand side platforms that are out there for which you could do geofencing and geo-targeting. Our reporting system is superior to any companies out there, bar none, mainly because it's so simplified and so elegantly focused on one thing, sorting foot traffic data to make it usable. So I think that having the right business partner who has
he's a great business partner too. We really balance each other. That's important. Have a great business partner that is, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Your strengths and weaknesses, you balance them, because it's so important, because we don't step on each other's toes. We work in sync with each other, knowing each of us have our back and our company, and to grow it the right way. And we have the same values for our customers.
Well, as you're talking, and I hope that those of you listening are hearing the same thing I am, but I'm hearing that, honestly, I've got like 5 companies that have already popped in my head that I need to introduce you to. And then secondly, the fact that you're doing this enhanced targeting and reporting is so key in delivering like executionable lists of to-dos each day. I mean, if you're reporting this real time and actually seeing, holy crap, we delivered this many ads and we got this many impressions and this many people came into the store, that is a huge, huge, huge thing that you're not getting in almost any other, walk-in traffic type deliverable in marketing. Like, I can't think of anything that even compares to that. This is really, really fascinating.
That was a struggle working with brands. I worked with a company called Time Technologies, and they're a groundbreaking drug that delivers a defective tyrosine, which forms a cell wall, the cancer cell. And this is groundbreaking technology that nobody knew about. And at the time, they just wanted to run, press releases. And I understand that when you're dealing with medicine, that you're not always able to, almost like finance, blue sky laws apply. But I mean, you need to get this message out there. And we did human trials like through Facebook, and there's just a whole world out there that's way more effective than Facebook and Google. And by the way, they're valuable platforms. But when dollars count, and you need people walking in the door or people signing up for something specific online, there's just nothing more actionable and more immediately having people show up than geofencing and geotargeting.
I love it. All right. So going back to your guys' business, because that's what we're really here to hear about, is your growth. I am more than excited about your product, but talk to us about the growth journey, because how long ago did your partnership start? How did you structure that to really to attract the customers? How long has this reporting function been in? Like, as you were building from not having those 3 things and to where you are now, what were some unexpected challenges that you hit, and how did you overcome those?
I would say the first major one is because when we first partnered up, I was still working. I was doing specialty medicines, and Ernesto was handling a lot of the stuff. One of our platforms went down. They weren't tracking iPhones.
Ouch.
And our numbers were... we were freaking out.
I was working 12-hour days.
He was redoing ads. He wasn't sure why it wasn't working. And I was still working, so that was hard. And we had to do so much research and to figure out. And the one thing that we did is we figured it out. We worked hard and long nights, and we figured out a whole new system, and it worked so much better. And we were so pleased. And sometimes when those things happen, It's for you to go to that next level.
Yeah.
And for us, it just did. It was that it started a new year with a whole new platform. And that's when, we were implementing more and more technology, because everything is so fast. Something's old the next, next 6 months. So we're always trying to improve our toolbox with different things, different technologies that we can use to give our customers even a better service.
I think something that would also benefit your audience to know is that we learned then and there not to rely on any one technology to deliver something. And we should have learned this long ago when Instagram and Facebook changed their algorithm and made it really impossible to have rich, organic interaction with your followers. It's really then that they really did a bait and switch. Meta, I'm giving you the psychic middle finger. They really did a bait and switch. We built up these family followers and friendships and business connections, and then they made us pay for access to that. So there's no way that you could put a post out there and hope, no matter how popular you are, to hope to reach your entire, I have 30, 40 some odd thousand followers on Instagram, 5,000 followers LinkedIn, Facebook, and it's just impossible. You really have to pay to reach them all. It taught us, don't rely on any one technology. You want to really own your connection to your customers. And that's kind of where our targeting and reporting system comes in. Now we can, where we don't need any one particular demand side platform. And for the audience, demand side platform is basically where you go to place your ads, publish them, and then bid for access to a device. So Barbara and I, we learned not to rely on any one technology, and then to come up with our own. And I think that is, as much as you can, specifically if you plan on selling your company in 5-10 years, the more proprietary information that you have that's unique to your business, whether it's a restaurant, for example, if a restaurant that owns its interaction, if you have pickup and delivery, if you have anything a customer can subscribe to, these things innately add a value to your business. And you then own the relationship between yourself and your end user and your customer. And
for sure.
These are the things that really help Barbara and I become who we are today. And I would say also one last thing is that we don't, not really one last thing, because you guys know I'm going to keep talking.
And he says I talk too much. I don't know about that one. He told me that once, and I started laughing.
Well,
Barbara,
we don't have
you
employees.
Seem so shy.
Yeah. So one thing that benefits us is we don't actually have employees. We do have people, teammates. We do have people who are contracted to fulfill certain obligations of our service. But they're not employees. So Barbara and I are not paying anyone else's health insurance. We're not paying for anyone else's retirement. And technology, if you're a tech company out there, you can set it up. There's this business model applies to many different verticals, and not just advertising. But we were able to set it up where basically her son, possibly we might need my brother who's a master programmer, or Bunny, the Hollow Bunny, you can look her up on Instagram. She's, one of our content creators. We just made her more famous now. She's in all these music videos.
Is this appropriate? Okay.
Oh yeah.
No.
It's just funny because
it's her handle. It's not like not a bad thing.
Yeah. So the Hollow Bunny is her handle on Instagram, but she's kind of famous. She's in all these music videos.
I'm gonna trust you on this one.
Oh, 100%. So,
and we have one of my cousins. So it's really more of a family business. We have integrated a lot of our family members in coming in to growing this business. And I think we've done a pretty good job at trying to keep it within the family.
Cool.
And we are blessed that everyone is such an expert in the things that we need.
Absolutely. It costs much less when you hire the right talent.
Yes, it does.
Don't ever cut corners. Like businesses always.
But boy, that's a dangerous operation sometimes. I'm curious. We'll save that for an offline conversation.
Well, no, when you deal with family and, you're upfront, we're lucky that the people that we do deal with are, very good at what they do. And they really do save us money and make us money.
I raised my boys. They're good. Single mom. They're good boys.
I get you. No, this is very cool. Well, a lot of people do get nervous about that. I particularly have hired family at certain points of my journey, but I swore never again for very specific reasons. I hope that it works out. You're clear enough with your relationships that you can reward good behavior and punish bad behavior in a way that keeps everyone happy. So I hope it works.
Yeah, we've had a good track record. I think, though, with the way we handle our business, it's very structured on what we do and what we give out to our family members as well. I have hands-on on all the finances and all that kind of stuff. Ernesto is the creative side. So we really hone into what our expertise are.
I love it.
And I think that's what you really have to do with the business, and you have to integrate the business with your life. There's no way of setting it from like 9 to 5 job, because then it's a job. Right. And then those pieces that you would miss, it's your business. It's your passion. So make sure you put that effort in, but also make sure that you have that time that you're like, you quiet your mind and you're like, okay, let's not react to this decision, and let's just figure out how to fix it and move on. Right.
And whether it's family or not, what you just described is the perfect process. I mean, you've got to identify roles. You got to identify things that got to get done. Who's going to do them? And when it gets done, reward. When it's not, get it done. And then there's the reward, right?
As a CEO, you want to be able to do anything that you have to farm out. So, for example, even though it's in our family, technically, we're not doing the work ourselves, that particular work ourselves. So, for example, we do the Hollow Bunny will do ads for us. She'll create display ads and other ads. Her son Noah might have to program something. But each thing they do, Barbara and I need to be able to step in and facilitate it being done with or without them. So when you run a company, you need to make sure, whether it's big or small, you need to have eyes on the moving pieces, such that, God forbid, I were sick or the person we're hiring is sick. I need to be able to go in and execute that immediately and get it done as quickly as possible. So,
because our customers are relying on us to get this done.
Well, and speaking of all that, I mean, having backups, having people understand your role, having people be able to fill in where you can't. I've never talked to anybody on this show or outside of the show who has been able to build a successful business without some kind of mentorship, someone they've leaned on, someone who's been kind of there for them in their corner. Would you guys mind sharing, like, who's helped you guys do this? Like, this sounds like you've built something amazing. Who's there for you?
So my first 2 mentors were, one is Damon Monticello. He's the co-founder of Credit Bros, the Credit Bros.
Oh, cool.
Credit repair service. And he would just give me constant advice. And before you know it, the advice that he started to give, Barbara and I were, just because he was such a good coach, and Barbara has excellent background experience as well in business. We just found ourselves doing all the things he would recommend. And then Tony Perillo, who's a former CFO of Sony International, he was one of my mentors, has been one of my mentors. And, just being able to talk to people that have excelled in their field, even if it's not directly related to your field. Imagine Bruce Lee being your best friend. Bruce Lee was your best friend. Imagine all the great, brilliant tidbits you'd get from him, because he's such a stellar figure. So I was just fortunate enough to have 2 buddies of mine that were very accomplished and were very generous with their experience. So, and then I would say Barbara, but then. So who are you going to say?
That's awesome.
I would say first God, because that's important to me.
Throw God, you have to pick a bigger. Yes. She had to find a bigger. She's name dropping bigger names. She just dropped the biggest name you could drop.
It's important, and just because I've had not an easy life, and I had to raise 2 boys by myself, and I've had some great role models. My Aunt Barbara was amazing growing up and being, a single woman and conquering and the industry and then Nestle's and being there for 43 years. And also my Joe, who passed away 5 years ago, very business oriented, taught me so much about business and people, and just watching how people interact and then knowing how to respond to those things. And overall, I think it's just together with everything and the books that you read, I think it just changes your mindset on the fact that you need to build a legacy, and that legacy needs to be for your family.
Right. I definitely feel like you're totally nailing on something that I love to talk about. And that is, at the end of the day, the business is important, but not the most important. It shouldn't be anyway. Like, you really need to have that family. You need to have, be thinking about your kids. I've only got 7 kids. And so sometimes I try to imagine life without them. I'm just kidding. No, I never do.
You wouldn't be living in a shoe.
Life without them.
Right. You wouldn't have to live in a giant shoe.
That is awesome.
True.
7 kids.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
And they are so much fun. But when I think about, how hard I want to work on my business or any type of business goals, it always reverts back to those 2 things, my relationship with God and my relationship with my family. And if you're working in your business so much and not allocating time for those other 2 things, you really do find yourselves getting frustrated, put out. Even people that don't have a strong relationship with God, if they're defaulting to their business all the time, it's just a perfect recipe for burnout. And so I do believe that, my faith in God and my relationship with my family keeps me going. Clearly it keeps you going. But I definitely think that for those people out there who struggle with either one of those things, because it's not perfect for everybody, there's got to be something. There's got to be something else outside your business that balances your life and gives you that ability to reflect on the times you need to focus. You can be totally honed in, and times you don't want to be. Guess what? You got to zone out every once in a while.
You do. You have to for your health.
Right. Big deal. Well, you guys, I honestly, I really love this interview. I think that the business advice you've given, the tool that you're developing, the way you're implementing, and the way you're making it work with a family-run business is inspirational. What else should we know? What advice do you give to those out there who are struggling and maybe something similar that you're dealing with right now?
What do you think?
What my advice will always go back to: if you're struggling, if you're having a success crisis or perhaps an identity crisis in your company, no matter how big or small, there are plenty of big Fortune 500 companies that struggle. Maybe they screw up with a terrible marketing campaign that alienates half the country. I would say focus on what you do best. So, for example, if we were consulting with Budweiser, I would say, or Bud Light, I would say focus on what you focus on what you did best, which was you're a beer maker, and focus on your traditions and what they used to do.
They don't impact social wellness for everybody in the world?
No. There was a time we needed beer when we didn't have clean water. But,
we may have to go back to that. I don't think we have clean water anymore. So I guess it's...
I love it.
So I would say Barbara and I have a culture, and we're Christians. That is our culture. We ask God for business. We thank God for business. We celebrate the lives and generosity that God has given us. So that's part of it. And then again, refine your culture, refine what you do, and be true to it. And I think that's what works for Barbara and I. We're not trying to be
I think that's why they call them core values.
Exactly. Yes. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We're just trying to service our clients with one simple task. We have one job. And that's to get people through your door. Sure. And we do it in a way that's consistent with our beliefs.
And for our clients in their industry, in their area, we offer exclusivity. We don't market against our competition for that. Just so that your audience knows that. It's very important to us.
I love it. Well, Ernesto, Barbara, you guys are amazing. I really appreciate the time you spent with us today. And for those listening, do check them out. Find out if they've given away their exclusivity in the local market you're in. If not, I literally I'm going to be having a conversation after this call about some of my clients and what we need to do to help them. And so I appreciate you guys spending the time with me today, and I appreciate all of you listening. Do check them out. And you guys, thanks again for your time.
Thank you. We had fun.
Good. Me too.